America's best days are yet to come. That's because conservatives like you know and live the values our great country was built on. The Heritage Foundation exists to make sure your voice is heard in the D.C. swamp each day, shining the light on a bright future. The Heritage Foundation stands for your values and won't give up the fight because they know you never will. Paid for by the Heritage Foundation.
He's here. He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
America, Mark Levin here. Our number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. Wow, there's so much to discuss this evening. But I want to start with what has to be one of the greatest scandals ever. Now, you hear this all the time. One of the greatest scandals ever. And we have Elon Musk to thank for revealing it. Just by a change in policy. And Katie Pavlich, I understand, was somebody who was urging this. Urging what? Ladies and gentlemen, who are these people with all these accounts on Twitter, that is X? Who are all these people who are commenting? It turns out millions are foreigners, many from enemy countries, many from heavy Muslim countries, who are pouring in to your accounts, or pouring in to your social media to make you think that they are Americans, or they are Gazans, or they are whatever they are, providing information and so forth and so on, which raises another question I want to delve into in a moment. These podcaster numbers. I conclude that one of the reasons Carlson is such an a-hole, and Fuentes, little Adolf is little Adolf, is because they require, in order to make the money they make, for eyes to come from overseas. From Qatar, from Saudi Arabia, from Pakistan, from Afghanistan. It's incredible. So let's start at the beginning. So there's a serious question now about these podcaster numbers, where they're coming from. There's a serious question now about who's posting what accounts and who's posting what comments. And you can be a sleuth all by yourself and figure it out. And my view is let the chips fall where they may. Over at Mediocreite, Elon Musk praised for a new feature revealing many political X accounts are foreign. A stupendous act of patriotism, people are saying, and I'm certainly one of them. Elon Musk received a wave of praise over the weekend after his developers at X rolled out a new feature showing the global location of accounts, revealing many influencers in the U.S. politics are actually based overseas. So while cybersecurity experts and general social media users have long warned of bots and foreign influence campaigns, I told you folks before that we have a lot of foreign commenters coming into our system, and I'm going to get to that in a moment on my account. Maliciously working to stir up anger, resentment, and outright hate within U.S. policies with inflammatory rhetoric online. Musk finally gave concrete proof that this is the case. Many of the accounts that have been revealed to be overseas are branded as pro-Trump MAGA accounts or part of Nick Fuentes' gropers. That is, Nick Fuentes has groper followers, of course, in the United States. We call them Klansmen and neo-Nazis and supremacists and that sort of thing, but an enormous number overseas. Oh, he's an influencer. Fans of the new feature were also quick to point out the abundance of pro-Palestinian accounts claiming to be reporting from inside Gaza or the U.S. that were, in fact, as far away as Australia or Indonesia, and I would add Poland, Greece, the U.K. Pro-Trump News Nation host, doesn't matter. Reasons Robbie Suave added, I was reflexively disinclined to believe it was all foreign accounts promoting racism and anti-Semitism under the guise of pro-Trump America First banner. That sounded too easy and similar to the now debunked idea that all the Trump content on Facebook in 2016 was actually Russian bots. But this account-based in feature actually has unmasked tons of gropers, that is, gropers, as Pakistani. That is, tons of little Adolf supporters are from Pakistan. As far as I can tell, he writes, very useful feature, and kudos to Elon Musk and the X team for implementing it. The hate is not coming from inside the house. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why my radio ratings remain incredibly strong. My TV ratings are incredibly strong. My book sell and so forth. All the analytics that are done here have never broken it down this way. And thanks to Elon Musk now, there's going to be a lot of not only breaking it down this way, but demanding that podcasters, so-called self-appointed influencers, that there be some kind of determination on where their eyes are coming from. Because I told you before, why is it that I'm always ahead of the curve, Mr. Producer? I don't like to pat myself on the head. I really don't. But these guys with the Jew hatred, they're playing to the Muslim countries. These guys with the racism, they're playing to bigots and racists. And that's what they're doing. They know that there's more Islamists than Jews in the world. That's why they play footsie with Qatar, right, Qatarlson? And all the rest of them. And Iran. We were all scratching our head. Now we know. This is where a lot of their eyes come from. This is where a lot of their money comes from, based on accumulation of how many viewers do they have. X does place a disclaimer of sorts next to the location information noting the country or region that an account is based can be impacted by recent travel or temporary relocation. However, that can be determined too, if it just keeps coming and coming and coming from the same place. Left-leaning pundit Micah Irfan shared screenshots of several hard-right accounts, including accounts affiliated with Fuentes, that were revealed to be in countries like Pakistan and Thailand, and commented, this is total Armageddon for the online right, he says. It's looking like half of their large accounts were foreigners posing as Americans all along. See, he politicizes it. That's not the way I see it. I see what he sees, but it's different. Fuentes is a paper tiger. He's an empty suit. He's wearing a sweatshirt now that I mocked him for wearing that funeral suit all the time, Mr. Producer. He's a concoction. He's a fake. He's a fraud. Same with Qatarlson. Same with Qatarlson. It's looking like half of the large accounts, he writes, were foreigners posing as Americans all along. The Dispatch's Jonah Goldberg shared several accounts being unmasked over the weekend and asked, the country of origin feature is progress, and I applaud it. So do I. And let the chips fall where they may. Ethan Fishberger says here's a thread of prominent accounts that have been subverting the U.S. by flooding Twitter with anti-American, anti-Israel, demoralizing or Marxist content aimed specifically at Americans. Several of them pose as Americans, but now the jig is up, and they're listing where they're from. Wow. Isn't that incredible? The attack on AIPAC. And I have no association with AIPAC, the American Israeli Political Action Committee, which promotes the alliance between the two countries. There's been a sudden, brutal, vicious attack, and you've heard it from little Adolf, and you've heard it from Carlson, but a lot of that's coming from overseas foreign influence. Writes Paul Brown, the attackers, like Counter AIPAC, are actually foreign influencers based in Egypt. Then another, thank you, Elon Musk, for exposing those accounts run from Qatar, Turkey, the Houthi militia in Yemen, pushing anti-Semitism, attacking civilization, glorifying the Muslim Brotherhood terrorism from the 7th of October massacre to the Satan Army genocide of 2 million Christians. Wow. So these people who you think are big shots, I've never thought they're big shots. Little Adolf Fuentes, if that is his name. If that is his name. Half or more of his people, quote unquote, from overseas. That's the implication by one of those who's analyzing this. I think all these podcasters have to come clean. All the ones that sound like, what are they doing? Does this make sense? Carlson? He sounds dumber by the day. The bigger racist, bigot, anti-Semite by the minute. Is there some association with Qatar? It doesn't even have to be financial. Where's he getting most of his eyes? Now, when they get eyes, these are considered hits or whatever, your followers. That's how they make their money. That's how they get their advertising. Look at all the eyes we have on this podcast here, this video here. It's unbelievable how we have 20 million. Oh, 20 million. Where are they from? So those who do the analytics for podcasters really need to step up like Elon Musk did and tell us where these people are from. Where they're from, because this is influencing the minds of our young people. It's influencing our politics. It's influencing our discussion. Yours truly, you, Mr. and Mrs. America, I have not changed one scintilla of my principles, my values, my belief systems, and this is why I come under this horrendous, vile attack, and now you know why. And now you know why. Now, that's not to say there aren't homegrown Klansmen and neo-Nazis, and so, of course there are. But so much of what's pouring into this country is pouring in from the Islamists, from the Marxists, from Arab countries, from Muslim countries, or from nut jobs in Europe and Central and South America. And they're organized, and they're exploiting us as a country. That's what they're doing. Elon Musk, if this is the only thing you do the rest of your life, you are a great patriot. A great patriot. Now let's see if all the others will stand up. Zuckerberg. Let's see if the so-called podcast platforming companies will step up and tell us where all these eyes are coming from. Look at this, Joe Rogan. Look at this. Tucker Carlson. Wow, he's now in the top 3. If they're slamming Jews, if they're platforming little Adolf, he rises in the podcast numbers. And you go, what the hell's going on here? Well, now we know what the hell's going on here. To repeat this Mediaite piece, many of the accounts that have been revealed to be overseas are branded as pro-Trump MAGA accounts or part of Nick Fuentes' Groypers. Little Nick is a fraud. He's getting rich being the little bastard that he is. Oh, he is. I would say the same with the Catarlsons of the world. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
Folks, I have a question for you. Do you believe America's best days are still ahead? With the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence coming up in less than a year, my friends at the Heritage Foundation are taking stock of the current situation, and they need your input. They've launched a survey on America's future to gauge how Americans feel right now about where we are as a nation and where we're headed in the next 250 years. You know, for decades, your American values have been under attack, but now, with President Trump's administration in office, we have an opportunity to turn the tide and usher in a new golden age for America. But the Heritage Foundation needs to hear from you. What policies do patriots like you most care about? What do you believe are the defining principles of America? What legacy do you believe we should pass on to the next generation? Please visit heritage.org/Levin today and share your feedback and help shape the future of America. That's heritage.org/LEVIN. Paid for by the Heritage Foundation. Mr. Producer did a test on the comments on my account, and it does take time to find out. Maybe the next upgrade I would respectfully suggest for Elon Musk is to put the flag of the country on the poster or the account or whatever, just to make it easier. As I say, let the chips fall where they may. But Mr. Producer found what, 35-40% from foreign countries? About right? Because the comments I get are really pretty filthy. Christos, at this point you might as well book a one-way ticket to Israel, fatso. Account based in Greece. Latent Observer, yes, he figured out, I can't repeat that one, account in India. Monte Sanchez, F. Israel, account in Canada. Canada's gone to hell. Gone to hell. Why waste your time going there? Daily Happy Stuff. It's time for Mark to go back to Israel. Somewhere in North America, not in the United States. Jabba 102. Mark supports for more financial aid to Israel from the U.S., United Kingdom. Vuji. Bannon has proven to be right, Mark, once again. The Netherlands. No doubt this guy's in prison. He was a big prison following, I'm sure, Bannon, given his own experience. Quip. After hearing the way you go after Megyn Kelly, I can't help but notice that you're an unhinged sick F from Canada. In the U.S., Megyn's support has dropped like a lead balloon, and it should. Which also raises the question about her chameleon-like behavior lately. You see, ladies and gentlemen, we've always thought here, just based on rational thinking, that something weird is going on here. They're playing to a very ugly audience. Not everybody, but many overseas. That's what they're doing. That's how they're getting their numbers. That's how they're getting their money. I'll be right back. We're coming upon the 250th birthday of the United States, and it has me thinking, what will America look like 250 years from now? My friends at the Heritage Foundation want to know what you think. What policies should America prioritize? What principles should carry us into the decades ahead? As America enters a new golden age, Heritage recognizes that this is the time to take stock and to be intentional about how we shape the future of America. And they can't do it without your input. So please go to heritage.org/LEVIN and let them know what you think is important. Without patriots like you stepping up and speaking up for what you believe in, America as we know it can't survive for another 250 years. Please go to heritage.org/Levin, heritage.org/LEVIN. Take the survey on America's future future. This survey takes less than 10 minutes to complete, but it is critical for making sure that the America we pass on to future generations is an America we're proud of. Go to heritage.org/Levin today. That's heritage.org/Levin. Paid for by the Heritage Foundation.
This is the home of America's founding. Call in now, 877-381-3811.
Eyal Yacobi got a lot of sleuths on the internet, some of whom are really good. He's one of them. Breaking thousands of so-called Palestinian accounts posting daily about starvation in Gaza and Israeli crimes aren't based in Gaza. And he provides the receipts here. You've been manipulated for over 2 years. And some of these accounts, ladies and gentlemen, have been used by major corporate media. The Guardian, CNN, I believe. New York Times, I know. You should go on and look. Look at what's going on. And look at the effect it's had. And Elon Musk has done really the Lord's work here. Bonchi, who writes under that pseudonym for Red State and writes very well. Well, it's almost like I was right when I said this movement is mostly astroturfed. Now consider that maybe all those views, quote unquote, for certain podcasters might not be on the up and up either. And that's my view, too. I don't think it is. But they can disprove me. They can prove me wrong. But we already know Mediocreite wrote about the Groypers. And little Adolf Fuentes, if that is his name, not little Adolf, I gave him that name. I mean Fuentes. Claims to be Italian. Maybe he is. But I believe Fuentes, is it Fuentes Mexican, Mr. Producer, or something of that sort? And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that unless your name is little Adolf. Then there's something really wrong with it because, you know, he's talking about the purity of the race. Problem is, his race isn't pure. Now what's he going to do? Hey, that little hoodie on you, little boy, looks kind of stupid. Put that funeral suit back on. You've been exposed, and it's not very pretty. Not very pretty. You and your gropers. You and your gropers. And your buddy Catarlson. Oh, yeah. I'm sure more will come out. In any event, Bonchi from Red State writes, consider that maybe all those views for certain podcasters might not be on the up and up either. A lot of the big groper accounts aren't even in America. Ooh. Wow. And these guys are just starting to dig in, Mr. Producer. They're just starting to dig in. And this is a massive scandal that Elon Musk has helped to unravel on his own site. But it spills into the podcaster world, the so-called influencer world. And now this will make a lot more sense to a lot of you, that these people are, for the most part, they're hateful, they're bigots, they're racist, but among the most important priorities for them is they're grifters. They're grifters, in my view. Owens, complete psycho. Catarlson, psycho. Bannon, bloated psycho. You've got Megyn Kelly. She's moved over to psycho land, in my humble opinion. She freaks out very easily. I've said she should get some help. I say it as a serious person saying a serious thing. I'm not trying to be rude in any respect. But her mood swings are just very bizarre to me. But that's a whole other story for another day. This is a big deal. That so many of you are being conned and have been conned. In the media. You've got these sites that say, here are the biggest podcasters. So they get crazier and crazier and crazier. And it's not because Americans are getting crazier and crazier and crazier, although we're importing a lot of really crazy people. I'm talking about Mr. and Mrs. America, you. And then these guys claim they're the real MAGA. They're real America first. Trump doesn't know what he's doing. Follow us. And by the way, the politicians who follow this, you're going to be doomed. Doomed. You're not going to be senators and congressmen. You're not going to be presidents and vice presidents. You're doomed. And you should be doomed. Just telling you the truth. There's a gentleman by the name of Frank McCormick. He's a conservative. He posts. And he responds to this real POS, this guy, Dave Smith, this phony comedian who thinks he's some kind of a scholar. He's not a scholar. He's a half-wit. Not even a half-wit. He's a nitwit. Hey, you want to debate me? Oh, go shove it up your you-know-what. How do you debate with bigots and anti-Semites? What, debate what? My right to exist? No, I don't think I'm going to debate that, you punk. So he's attacking, let's see, which congressman is it here? Which one is it, Mr.? Oh, Dan Crenshaw. The gropers, the Qataralites, the bloated Bannon types, they really hate this guy, Dan Crenshaw. I don't know why. He's a real military hero. He served the country. He's lost sight in one eye. He's losing sight in the other eye. You don't have to agree with him on everything. Why are you trying to destroy the man? So this guy, Dave Smith, who's never done a damn thing for our country. Zero. But he's happy to promote Candace Owens. He's such a crackpot. He appears on Carlson. This guy Joe Rogan gets away with this stuff too. I'm just being honest with you. Don't touch him. He's so big. Touch whomever I want. The hand of truth knows no limits. And they platform this piece of crap. Why? Because he's a piece of crap. That's why. And they like to platform pieces of crap because they get more what? Eyes. Eyes. So he attacks Dan Crenshaw. Crenshaw said, I waste time addressing you because, unfortunately, you have enough people who buy into your nonsense. Maybe you're funnier than I thought. And he was talking about what this jerk was doing in terms of, I believe it was Owens. Owens. Even the kooks think she's a kook. Did you notice that, Mr. Producer? Even the kooks say, she's way over there. I'm only over here. I'm not going where she is. I'm a kook enough. I'm not kooking over there. I mean, even the gropers are saying, I don't know about her. I do have a reputation. You know? We, the gropers, have a reputation as neo-Nazis, but not as, mental patients. That's a whole other story. So you're dealing with a whole combination of sickos here. And now we know frauds. And so this guy, Dave Smith, writes to Crenshaw, you fought in a catastrophic 20-year regime change war against the Taliban that failed and left a better armed Taliban in power. How the F did that make me or any American safer to have an opinion? Pure, retard, boomer con slop. This is this moron, this punk attacking a veteran. Attacking a veteran. All you vets out there, they hate your guts. They hate you. And this Frank McCormick, a conservative, writes, don't attack veterans for fighting the wars they were called to serve in. If this is the type of country we're becoming, we truly are in decline. No society lasts without honor for those sworn to its defense. So here's Crenshaw. He volunteers to serve the military. He goes where he's told to go. He fights. He almost loses his life. He's lost eyesight in one eye. He's got very poor eyesight in another, and he's struggling with it with operations constantly. And this lowlife, crap on the bottom of my sneakers, this Dave Smith, the comic, trashes him for fighting for his country. Trashes him. So who do you think's going to follow him and cheer him on? From Afghanistan, the Taliban? Yeah. Maybe Russia? Yeah. Maybe Communist China and North Korea and Iran and Qatar? Yeah. He's a big guy, this Dave Smith. He's so smart. Nobody uses the F word like, well, maybe Megyn Kelly. But you get the point. So he's trashing Crenshaw, who served our country heroically and has battle scars for the rest of his life as he and his family have to suffer. And this nothing of a piece of crap attacks Crenshaw, and Frank McCormick, good for you, comes to his defense and says, you're attacking a man who was called to serve. He went and he served in battle, and you're trashing him for serving in battle. Mr. and Mrs. America, this isn't us. So you have these grifters who are playing to the enemy. They're playing to the enemy. They're playing to the Islamists. That's what they're doing. They're playing to the Palestinians. They're playing to the Marxists. They're playing to the anti-Americans, and then they want you to think what they're saying is real America. America first. That's right, America first. Do they sound like America first to you? Any politician who embraces this or doesn't reject it, you're going nowhere. Let me tell you that. And I'm going to make sure of it, but I don't even have to make sure of it. The American people will be repulsed by you. Absolutely. This isn't a debate within the Republican Party. This isn't a debate within MAGA. This has nothing to do with MAGA. Does any of this sound like Donald Trump to you? No. Does any of it sound like the first president with MAGA? Reagan? No. In fact, these jerks, these other presidents, they weren't very good. This is a new day and a new time. Excuse me. Reagan got 60% of the vote, won over 500 electoral college votes. He defeated the Soviet Union without firing a bullet. Yeah, but that was then. So they all sound like Marxists now, have you noticed? The world begins with me, because I'm so smart. It's a new day. Anything that came before didn't really matter. No, it's us. Sick. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
Folks, I have a question for you. Do you believe America's best days are still ahead? With the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence coming up in less than a year, my friends at the Heritage Foundation are taking stock of the current situation, and they need your input. They've launched a survey on America's future to gauge how Americans feel right now about where we are as a nation and where we're headed in the next 250 years. For decades, your American values have been under attack, but now, with President Trump's administration in office, we have an opportunity to turn the tide and usher in a new golden age for America. But the Heritage Foundation needs to hear from you. What policies do patriots like you most care about? What do you believe are the defining principles of America? What legacy do you believe we should pass on to the next generation? Please visit heritage.org/Levin today and share your feedback and help shape the future of America. That's heritage.org/LEVIN. Paid for by the Heritage Foundation. Mark, why don't you live in Israel? Because I'm an American. I live in America. Should I move to Ukraine, too? Because I support Ukraine. How about Taiwan? Should I move there, too? Stupid questions. Morons. Crazy people. But you know what's funny about me? I push back harder than they push. Don't I, Mr. Producer? It doesn't matter to me. It's okay. I'd rather live in Israel than, say, Qatar, Canada, Australia these days, Ireland these days, South Africa these days. Why not? But I live here. I'm an American. My family's been in this country for 120 years. And I find it interesting, a lot of people who talk this way, their families haven't been here 120 years, and they haven't fought in any wars for this country either. Yes, that's right. So cut out the BS, the bigoted, racist anti-Semitism. I don't debate people who call on this phone and make those comments. And slobs, podcasters, who have eyes coming in from Qatar and Iran and China and Russia. Disgusting. It's disgusting. Now, if I were running this show like Carlson runs his show, and I see that his partner, CEO, Neil Patel, and a former investor, I believe, on December 6th and 7th, isn't December 7th an important anniversary, Mr. Producer? I think it is. Are in Qatar. Well, Mark, that's not unusual. Yeah, but they're in Qatar. They're there with not only leaders of Qatar, but influencers and government from Iran, talking about business and international relation and diplomacy. Wow. Carlson Inc. Now, if I'm running this show like Carlson runs his show, just asking questions, I would ask the question, why isn't Carlson required to register as a foreign agent under FARA? So they keep saying about me, because I happen to be Jewish, but I'm American. I support Israel. I support Taiwan. I support Ukraine. Am I supposed to file a registration with all these? So why doesn't he? And why don't they? I'm just curious. Yeah, just asking questions. But they're not just asking questions. They're making allegations. And there's more information about him that's come out. It's all public. I'm not going to go there right now. I've done enough for one day about things he has said about our great president. It's funny, these self-appointed so-called MAGA influencers who aren't MAGA and they're not influencers. Some of them serve in very high office. Some of them have these podcasts. The things they have said about Donald Trump. You know, Mark, you said you'd never support Donald Trump for 15 minutes, right, Rich? Over something Roger Stone said to me about me, and the president contacted me and said, Roger doesn't represent me. I have no quarrel with Roger Stone. I don't talk to him. He doesn't talk to me. But I like Roger Stone. What do you think of that? And the guy had to deal with a SWAT team and all that crap. So I appreciate what he had to put up with. And my dog doesn't just bark. My dog barks to the truth. We have 3 dogs here, by the way. They're fantastic. 2 of ours and 1 of my stepdaughters. They're just great, by the way. Anyway, so that was never the case. And everybody knows it. But you've never heard me call Donald Trump what these people have said about Donald Trump. Ever, and I never will. But they do, they did, and they still do behind his back. While they come to you and they pretend, we're MAGA, we're going to change things. While all kinds of miscreants and malcontents and worse from all over the world are counted as their supporters and their gropers and all the... It's pretty disgusting. Now, we're going to move on. A lot of big stuff out there. This segment of the podcast is exclusively sponsored by Pure Talk. Pure Talk offers great coverage and can save your family money on your wireless bill every single month. Go to puretalk.com to find the plan that's right for you. Thank you again for listening, and thank you so much for this sponsorship, Pure Talk.
He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Hello, America. Mark Levin here. Our number, hello, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. All right, let's set the table. Let's play this video again that these 6 Democrats put out. And now they're trying to turn it on Trump. Well, he said, we're going to kill us, and now they're investigating. Excuse me. What these 6 did, as veterans, they tried to turn the armed forces against the commander-in-chief. That's what they did. They tried to destroy the hierarchy of order. When we first heard it, we said they haven't given a single example of an illegal or unconstitutional order. So they're trying to reach into our military, to individuals who may not be 100%, to be perfectly honest with you. In every community, we have that. And to get them to start questioning their orders, questioning the line of authority, questioning the commander-in-chief, extraordinarily dangerous to the President of the United States, dangerous to the military and all of their brothers and sisters in the military, dangerous to the effectiveness of the military. And these people are veterans, so, they're getting pensions and everything else. I've never seen anything like this. Nobody's ever seen anything like this. And this is what they did. Go.
I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
and the intelligence community
who take risks each day
to keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
and intelligence community professionals
against American citizens.
like us. You all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
but from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse.
So stop right there. See, he said threats are coming right now from the president against our Constitution. Threats are coming right now. And you have an obligation in the military, they're saying, to do something about this. Now, this is as bad as it gets, folks. I've never seen anything like this. Go ahead.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
So why are they saying you can refuse and must refuse illegal orders? He didn't give any illegal orders. Well, we're just telling them, if you think they are, go to your Who are you, a senator and a congressman? Why are you even planting this kind of thought in somebody's head when they've joined the military voluntarily to defend the nation and, yes, take orders? Nothing's been done that requires this kind of a videotape out there. The whole purpose of this is to stir the pot, create havoc, undermine the military process, the hierarchy, the line of command, and undermine the commander-in-chief. Can you imagine if these six succeed? Can you imagine about the safety of our nation, what it would be like? Some private somewhere says, I don't agree with that order. I think it's illegal. I'm not going to follow that order. Yeah, who's with me? I mean, come on. Go ahead.
Carry out orders that violate the law or our Constitution.
We know this is hard.
and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving...
See. This isn't projecting the future. We know it's hard right now, they're saying. That it's hard to be a public servant right now. Under the circumstances right now. Well, what are they? Well, illegal orders and... We never said that. Yes, you did. Otherwise, why are you even opening your mouths? They're trying to get military personnel to turn on the commander-in-chief. The purpose is obvious. It doesn't need a lot of interpretation. Go ahead.
The Army,
Our Navy,
The Air Force.
Your vigilance is critical.
And know that we have your back.
because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We have your back now more than ever? What does that mean? You see, if you really unravel what they're saying and how they're saying it, they're telling you the threat is now, the violations have occurred now, and you have an obligation. You have an obligation to turn on the commander-in-chief. Now, when they're pinned on it, they equivocate. They equivocate because everybody who's not a elected Democrat, everybody knows that what they did here is unethical and worse. Go ahead.
our Constitution,
And who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
Don't give up the ship. Oy, oy, oy. So here's Elisa Slotnick. Elisa Slotnick won by like 10 or 20,000 votes in Michigan. She ran as a moderate. She's become a radical kook. She's obnoxious. And, of course, she wanted to do this video. So we have Raddatz, Martha Raddatz, who's a big lib, who went to the Obama wedding. But even she says, you know, I got to at least appear to be somewhat professional and journalistic. ABC This Week, which nobody watches. That's why I'm playing this, so you hear it. Cut one, go.
And it is very clear that no one should follow an illegal order. But it's very murky when you look at what is an illegal order. And if you go into morally, ethically, that's a pretty tough thing to look at and say, how do I navigate this?
Look, if you go back to Nuremberg, right, that, well, they told me to do it. That's why I murdered people.
Whoa. Nuremberg? What does Nuremberg have to do with this? They told me to murder people. He didn't tell anybody to murder anybody. Nuremberg? Seriously? Is this woman an idiot? Go ahead. Answer is yes.
If you look at popular culture, there's you watch, A Few Good Men. We have plenty of examples since World War II in Vietnam where people were told to follow illegal orders and they did it and they were prosecuted for it. So the best thing for people to do is go to their
Trump didn't do any of that. First of all, you're wrong. There were a couple of cases. I know those cases. But the military generally. So now she's forced to trash the military. Now she's trashing the military. We know these things happen. We know they've happened. You consider the size of our military and all the things our military does. We should all be extraordinarily proud of all of our armed forces. We really should. And so now she's trashing. We know this has been done in the past. So first of all, that doesn't prove her point. We're not asking you about what happened in Nazi Germany. We're not asking about the Nuremberg trials. What does that have to do with this? Nothing. Go ahead.
Their local law enforcement or a legal officer in their unit and ask for some explanation, ask for help. And that's what we've been advising people to do.
Ask for help about what? They don't need you to advise them on what to do either. You're a damnable senator. Now, we're getting threats against our lives. We're getting, join the party. But all that said, putting all the static aside, look what you created. Look what you did. So the president reacts. You don't like the way he reacts. So Haig says reacting, and I'll get to that because I support what he's doing 100%. This can't go unpunished. This was a massive betrayal by Mark Kelly and the other five. Betrayal of our country, betrayal of our military, betrayal of our Constitution. Go ahead.
But I think it's important to know it's not hypothetical, right? This president in the last administration, his last administration, asked his Secretary of Defense and his chairman of the Joint Chiefs to, quote, shoot at their legs at unarmed protesters in front of the White House that he wanted moved.
Actually, I know you're talking about Mark Esper's book. He didn't exactly say that. He said the president suggested that, but they were never ordered to do that.
And he got out of the Oval Office quickly so that he wasn't told to actually do it. And I give him a lot of credit for that.
Oh, I see. So, Mr. Producer, if he wasn't in the Oval Office, the president couldn't have ordered him to do it? What are you, an idiot? You're a senator? How did you even become a congressman? Good for Raddatz. Raddatz, I pat you on the back. Good for you. But there's more here. We have cut 3. Go.
Well, let's talk right now. Do you believe President Trump has issued any illegal orders?
To my knowledge, I am not aware of things that are illegal, but certainly there are some legal gymnastics that are going on with these Caribbean strikes and everything related to Venezuela.
So even if you believe that, even if you believe it, that's a debate in Congress among members and with the executive branch. That's not an illegal or unconstitutional order. I think what the president is doing is exactly right. We've only had 5 cases, I've told you this many times, where we've had declarations of war. 5. So if Congress wants to do something about it, why doesn't it do something about it? Oh, we don't have the votes. Exactly. Well, the Democrats aren't in control. Exactly. So, that's called democracy. It's how it works. She has no examples because there aren't any. When we come back, the most detestable of the bunch is this guy, Jason Crow, on Deface the Nation. We'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
You know, in all the time I've been supporting Pure Talk, my wireless company, I can honestly say I've never seen an offer like this from them before. Listen to this. Unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data with a 30-gig hotspot. Just $29.95 a month for life. Friends, this is Pure Talk's top-tier plan, normally $65 a month. Now through December 7th, that's it. Just $29.95 a month. You're saving over 50% a month every month for life. Yes, that's on their crazy fast 5G network. But this offer is extremely short-lived. Go to puretalk.com/Levin. That's Levin for Pure Talk's best unlimited plan. Just $29.95 a month for life. Make the switch in as little as 10 minutes. Keep your phone, keep your number, and start saving with unlimited for life for just $29.95 a month. Again, that's puretalk.com/Levin, puretalk.com/Levin to switch to my wireless company, Pure Talk. Taxes and fees not included. Some restrictions apply. See puretalk.com for details. Offer ends December 7, 2025. Well, over at Deface the Nation, there is Jason Crow, this jerk Democrat from Colorado. I wouldn't know who he is but for the fact that he was on with Martha McCallum. And she was doing an excellent job as a real journalist, objectively questioning him, and he was very nasty and vicious, and he made it clear what an ass he is. But let's take a listen. This is another one of the 6 urging our military basically to conduct a coup. Cut 4, go.
Before you appeared here today on social media, he put out, the traitors that told the military to disobey my orders should be in jail right now, not roaming the fake news networks, I guess that's us, trying to explain what they said was okay.
By the way, she's one of the worst, this Margaret Brennan on Deface the Nation. Now, you don't have to guess it's you. It is you, you moron. Go ahead.
It was sedition at the highest level. It's a major crime. There can be no other interpretation of what they said. That's a quote from what he put on social media. Do you have any idea what all these threats actually mean? Because he mentioned in an interview...
Boy, what a tough questioner she is, huh, Mr. Producer? Oh, poor fellow. Tough veteran. Combat. What do all these threats mean? How about a better question? What the hell do you think you were doing? We've never heard of anybody do this before, but no, that's her. Go ahead.
Courts and reference the DOJ as well.
No, we don't know what this means. He doesn't know what this means because he's irresponsible. He's acting dangerous. He's acting in an insightful way. There's 2 things going on here, Margaret. One is the irresponsible and dangerous rhetoric by the President of the United States threatening to have members of Congress executed who he disagrees with.
That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. And why is it enough? This guy lights the fuse, and the 5 others do. They're the ones playing with fire. And unfortunately, Margaret Brennan is too much of a low IQ leftist to ask the right question. You don't ask this guy about Donald Trump. You ask this guy about this guy. He's sitting right there. And you have an opportunity to ask him questions. Not about Donald Trump. About him. You put this out. You don't have an illegal order anywhere. You're obviously sending a message to the men and women in uniform. You're trying to tell them to defy the president. And then you guys pull back and you say, no, not really. We're just saying if you get an illegal order, if you... No. That video was done for a reason. The timing was done for a reason. And there you have this guy Crow sitting right there with you. And what do? You go after Donald Trump because you're a fake, a phony, and a fraud. That's why. Then, of course, we all need to know what AOC thinks, don't we? We all need to know what AOC, a.k.a. Sandy from Westchester. We all need to know what Sandy from Westchester has to say. Why? Why? Very, very important. We need to know what Sandy and Chris Murphy from the Senate, in Connecticut. We need to know what he has. Why? Because they're dumb bastards who say the stupidest things. That's what. May I say that on air? I think I just did. Cut 5, go.
To be honest.
No, be a liar like you normally are. Don't be honest. Go ahead. Start from the top, please.
To be honest, the president's remarks I think, indicate a level of instability. It's not just shocking. It's not just offensive. It's bizarre. It is erratic. It's volatile. And I think it indicates a mental state that we
Now, this is a woman who hangs around Bernie Sanders, you understand? He's not erratic, is he? Now, this is a woman who pals around with Tlaib. She's not a nut job. Or Omar. She's not a crackpot. No. And, of course, she supports Mandami. I don't care what anyone says. The guy, his stripes don't change. A Marxist, Islamist, American-hating Jew hater. That's what he is. He has spent an entire career, all 13 minutes, in creating that persona, and I take him at his word. No, but it's Trump, you see. Go ahead.
Questioning right now, whether that's emotional, mental, what have you. It is not normal to make these accusations. It is not normal to invoke these kinds of threats of violence. And it's also not normal to...
Thanks for your input. You've been fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. How many more of these people do we really want to hear? There's Amy Klobuchar on Meet the Depressed. So we Meet the Depressed, Deface the Nation. What's the other one? Last week with No Name. All right, let's give it a try. Let's jump into the gene pool with the next one. Amy Klobuchar, who's known for treating her staff like crap. They used to, actually take surveys, and she was considered in the Senate to be the worst of the worst to her staff. Not anymore. No, she's fantastic. Kristen Welker. The Welker actually asked a good question, unlike Brennan. Cut 6, go.
You know what the specific illegal acts are that your Democratic colleagues were referring to there?
Well, it's very clear in this code for the military that you cannot follow unlawful order.
That's not what she asked you, is it, Amy? If that is your name, Amy. That's not what you were asked, was it? You were asked, do you know of any instances of illegal acts were ordered by the president? Amy, go ahead.
And, that would be, I'll just use an example. Some of the judges have now found in certain cities that it is not legal to send in the National Guard.
Excuse me. And they have an appellate process, and the appellate courts rule. Many of them have overturned what the lower courts have. So you're now saying if somebody brings a case in front of a federal judge and a judge rules the president can't do something, that the military should rise up and usurp the president of the United States? Now, should they do it while it's on appeal, after it's on appeal? You moron. I'll be right back. In all the time I've been supporting Pure Talk, my wireless company, I can honestly say I've never seen an offer like this from them before. Listen to this. Unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data with a 30-gig hotspot. Just $29.95 a month for life. Friends, this is Pure Talk's top-tier plan, normally $65 a month. Now through December 7th, that's it. Just $29.95 a month. You're saving over 50% a month every month for life. Yes, that's on their crazy fast 5G network. But this offer is extremely short-lived. Go to puretalk.com/Levin. That's Levin for Pure Talk's best unlimited plan. Just $29.95 a month for life. Make the switch in as little as 10 minutes. Keep your phone, keep your number, and start saving with unlimited for life for just $29.95 a month. Again, that's puretalk.com/Levin, puretalk.com/Levin to switch to my wireless company, Pure Talk. Taxes and fees not included. Some restrictions apply. See puretalk.com for details. Offer ends December 7, 2025.
When the going gets tough, A tough get. Mark Levin. Call him now at 877-381-3811.
All right, did we have one more, Mr. Producer? I lost track here. No. And who is that? I don't have it in front of me. Oh, yeah, this guy, Ashlash Magash, from the state of Massachusetts, that doesn't have a single Republican representative. Unbelievable.
They should have been more explicit about the contours of what they think is actually illegal.
I think the burden of proof on respecting the integrity of the military does not lie on these patriots and veterans who are serving in Congress. It lies on the President of the United States.
So the burden of proof is on the President of the United States to prove his actions are legal or constitutional when nobody's raising it except these knuckleheads? Does that even make sense to anybody? Does that make sense to anybody? So the whole Democrat Party's behind this now. Trashing our military, trashing our Constitution. They're the ones doing it. Trashing the line of service, the line of hierarchy. Undermining civilian control of the military. And quite frankly, stereotyping the military. So the entire Democrat Party's behind it. Same Democrat Party that didn't want to give increases to the men and women in the military and didn't. Same Democrat Party that would cut the military budget effectively when you include inflation, but would redistribute wealth to illegal aliens and to students who want student loans for nothing. Now they act like they're standing up for the military. We call this what, America? I wrote about this. What do we call this in Unfreedom of the Press? A pseudo-event. What's a pseudo-event? It's a non-event. They create a non-event in order to attack the president. There is no illegal order. There is no unconstitutional order. They can't mention one because there aren't any. And so now they've created an event, a pseudo-event, pseudo-news. I wrote extensively about this on Freedom of the Press. So it's a non-event. They do this all the time, as the book explains, as I explain here repeatedly. And so now we're addressing nothing except them. They should pay a price for this. And Pete Hegseth has taken on Mark Kelly, and he should. Pentagon says it's investigating Senator Mark Kelly over video urging troops to defy illegal orders, quote unquote. The Associated Press, which we know is always honest, the Pentagon announced Monday it's investigating Mark Kelly of Arizona for possible breaches of military law after the former Navy pilot joined a handful of other lawmakers in a video that called for troops to defy illegal orders. That's not exactly what took place, but you have to understand it's AP. The Pentagon statement posted on social media cited a federal law that allows retired service members to be recalled to active duty on orders of the defense secretary for possible court-martial or other measures. Now they go on with their opinion. This is supposed to be a newswire. It is extraordinary for the Pentagon, which until President Trump's second term had usually gone out of its way to appear apolitical, to directly threaten a sitting member of Congress. You see what I mean? Now, it's interesting. You have that investigation of multiple Republicans in the Senate and the House with all kinds of secret subpoenas going on and on and on. I don't know that anything, certainly to that extent, has ever been done, and I don't remember AP saying this is an extraordinary thing, going after members of Congress this way. And here you have a senator who publicly undermines the commander-in-chief in the line of military hierarchy, and they say it's extraordinary. No, it's necessary. Kelly said he upheld his oath to the Constitution, dismissed the Pentagon investigation as a work of bullies. He's projecting. He's projecting. This guy's a phony and a fraud. Then they go on, he was a fighter pilot before becoming an astronaut and then retiring to the rank of captain. So why did he do what he did? If he's a fighter pilot, retiring at the rank of captain and then was an astronaut, it was triply outrageous that he did what he did. Kelly's conduct brings discredit upon, you got to go all the way down to like paragraph 7. Armed forces and will be addressed appropriately Secretary Higgs has said on his personal X account. With the wider group, he added that their foolish screed sows doubt and confusion, which only puts our warriors in danger. True, but they wait till well into the article before they get into that. And he's right. And he should be investigated. It's actually an open and shut case. It's on video, isn't it? Chief Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell, who's another vet, said last week, our military follows orders and our civilians give legal orders. And our civilians have given legal orders. They can't point to one that's not. Not one. And this guy, Kelly, all of a sudden, yeah, how dare they come after me? I was an astronaut, and I retired, what did he retire? Captain or whatever he was, and how dare they? What do you mean, how dare they? Having a United States senator subject to discipline at the behest of the Secretary of Defense and the President, that violates a core principle of legislative independence. So they find some schmo at the Georgia State University, a constitutional law professor, Anthony Michael Kreis. Okay, ask me. I'm not a professor, but I bet my knowledge of the Constitution is every bit as good as this guy. They cherry-pick these guys anyway. They cherry-pick them, so they knew what this guy was going to say. Any way you cut it, the Constitution is fundamentally, structurally designed to prevent this kind of abuse from happening, he says. What kind of abuse from happening? What kind of abuse? President didn't abuse anybody. Hegseth's not abusing anybody. He's conducting an investigation. What are they talking about? They should never have created that video, and they should never have released it. It's that simple. And Kelly should pay a price for it. He used his position to do exactly what he did. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
You know, in all the time I've been supporting Pure Talk, my wireless company, I can honestly say I've never seen an offer like this from them before. Listen to this. Unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data with a 30-gig hotspot. Just $29.95 a month for life. Friends, this is Pure Talk's top-tier plan, normally $65 a month. Now through December 7th, that's it. Just $29.95 a month. You're saving over 50% a month every month for life. Yes, that's on their crazy fast 5G network. But this offer is extremely short-lived. Go to puretalk.com/Levin. That's Levin for Pure Talk's best unlimited plan. Just $29.95 a month for life. Make the switch in as little as 10 minutes. Keep your phone, keep your number, and start saving with unlimited for life for just $29.95 a month. Again, that's puretalk.com/Levin, puretalk.com/Levin to switch to my wireless company, Pure Talk. Taxes and fees not included. Some restrictions apply. See puretalk.com for details. Offer ends December 7th, 2025. You know, those who want to make nice with him, whether it's the president or others, I just can't agree with them. I just can't. This guy is evil. He's vile. He's not going to surrender his ideology. He's going to want the feds to bail him out. He's going to want businessmen to bail him out. And that's his idea of all getting along and working together. And I will predict you right now, if the city goes south, and it will, he will blame Trump, he will blame the business community, he will blame everybody but himself. Because that's what Marxists do. Marxists today, they still practice Marxism, right, in one form or another. Communism, if you prefer. And what do they always say? It's in my book, Ameritopia. Well, it wasn't done the right way. You know, Stalin wasn't the right guy. Lenin wasn't the right guy, you know. Castro wasn't the right guy. Mao wasn't the right guy. Yeah, we got to do it the right way. Well, the wrong way killed 100 million people. The right way will probably kill a billion people. But they take responsibility for nothing. These are ideologues. That's all they are. In the case of Mondami, it's worse. He's a Marxist Islamist. And so I briefly touched on this. You have this synagogue, this huge synagogue in New York City. And the congregants couldn't even get in. They were blocked by the Hamas-supporting Palestinians and their comrades. They would not let the Jews to go into the synagogue, their synagogue, to pray. And because they said that their effort to make available information to anybody in this country who wants to move to Israel was what? Was colonialistic, imperialistic, trying to get people to take over Palestine that belongs, as we all know, to the pretend name Palestinians, a name that was invented in 1965 by an Egyptian by the name of Arafat. There's no such thing as a Palestinian. But we've explained that before, haven't we? But that aside for the moment. So they said that this Mandami says they're violating international law, you see. That meeting in that synagogue where those people are practicing their faith and talking to one another about talking to other Jews if they want to move to Israel. It's called Aliyah. You can Google it. But in any event, that violates international law because this land belongs to, the peaceful Palestinians. This was the response of Mandami. He said he didn't like the language that was used and so forth, but on the other hand, what was going on there violated international law. It didn't violate international law. This guy's a scumbag. That's what he is. And you don't change that. And you don't change it. People say, but he talks so well and he smiles. I heard that about Castro. Talks well and he smiles. I hear that about all these Marxist leaders and fascist leaders. They talk well and they smile. So what? So what? We need to get Elise Stefanik in there. I know this guy from Long Island's running. What is that guy's name? I don't even know. He's like whatever he is. But Lawler has endorsed Stefanik to his great credit. I've endorsed Stefanik. President has endorsed Stefanik, I believe. But she would be a fantastic governor. She could counter this guy and counter all the other crackpot stuff that's going on by the radical Marxist left. And she'd be a great voice. And I predict now, if she wins the governorship, she has national potential. She's really a gem. She really is. And there's only a handful of those right now. So we wish her all the best, and we will help her to the extent we can. I want to get into this more when we return. This judge who dismissed the cases against Letitia James and Comey in the Eastern District of Virginia. Let me just touch on it quickly. I can expand on it later. He basically said, look, the U.S. attorney, the acting U.S. attorney is not an acting U.S. attorney. Her 120 days is up. Now, we've had 3 situations like this in 3 different jurisdictions. 2 judges in the other jurisdictions refused to rule this way. This guy, who is a Clinton appointee, is a radical left-wing kook. They were making it impossible for them to win this case, even bring the case under all circumstances. He just declares that it's unconstitutional, and that's that. It's certainly not the end of the road, especially not for Letitia. Why? Number 1, the administration is appealing it. And number 2, even if they lose the appeal, they can just appoint somebody else to bring the case. There you go. Issue resolved. Just appoint somebody else to bring the case. My own view is they have Letitia dead to rights here. Dead to rights. So I don't think this administration is going to give up so easily because of this one judge in the Eastern District who did what he did. And even if it's upheld on appeal, ultimately it doesn't matter. So they'll appoint somebody else and bring the case. The problem they're going to have, of course, is that it's the same damn judge. But in the case of Letitia, she doesn't have many arguments to make where Comey, the grand jury, and this happened and that happened. Letitia doesn't have all that to argue. I think they have her dead to rights. That's just my opinion. My opinion's usually correct, particularly when it comes to matters like this. It's the irony is, of course, she brings a phony case against Donald Trump. They have a phony judge there. The guy's a freak, fraud. Basically try to bankrupt Donald Trump. There's no witnesses. The testimony that was provided in writing even provides that there was no violation of any of the mortgage agreements, that Trump paid them off early, he paid them off with interest, and blah, blah, blah. So they dust off this phony fraud statute. They go after him. That thing's still on appeal. It's making progress. They've got a pretty good case. They're but it takes forever to appeal. And there's Letitia James. Yes, she puts in the papers, my residence is in Virginia. Excuse me? And I'm married to my father. What? Oh, and the other property, where I said there were only 4 apartments, there were actually 5, but that's only because I couldn't count. I was tired that night. Oh, okay. And I love it when they say Trump's out to get her. Well, whether he is or not, who cares? I mean, if she violated the mortgage laws, the very mortgage laws she said she's concerned about, it's called fraud. And in her case, it looks like she did. In Trump's case, he certainly did not. So she's not done. They better get it like an orange tent. An orange tent. Get it customized for her, because big lady. I'm not putting her down. I'm just an observer. Just asking questions. I'll be right back.
He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Hello, America. Mark Levin here. This is our Power Hour, and as a matter of fact, I'll be gone the rest of the week. What do we have, Mr. Producer, the rest of the week? Yeah. We got Brian Mudd, great host. Ben Ferguson, great host. And a best of that we put together for you folks. You're going to love it all. I know you are. So I want to always thank you for being so loyal to me in this program. I really appreciate it. It's quite a day, isn't it? Quite a day. Elon Musk has revealed so much that is so important about the internet, about Twitter, now known as X, about the flooding of foreign governments and foreign individuals in disguising who they are, outright lying about who they are, acting like American citizens or people from Gaza or what have you, trashing our country, trashing Israel. This stuff is picked up by the little Adolf Fuentes, Catarlson, people of their ilk, spewed and spread, as well as by corporate media. This is one of the reasons why you see them embracing so strongly the Islamists, whether it's Qatar, Iran, embracing Putin and all, because a lot of the eyes they get on their podcasts, video podcasts, are from enemy countries, or from adversary countries. And so this is what they do. They're grifters. They're in it for the money, and ideologically, too. They're haters, but they're really in it for the money. Turns out, as media reports, that little Ada Fuentes, at least half of the gropers are from overseas. Now, let's see how the media reports on this tomorrow, right? They're trying to have people believe that the Catarlsons, that the bloated Bannons, that the crackpot Owens, that the little Adolfs, and yes, even Megyn Kelly, who is kind of a chameleon who's chameleoned her way over there. But in any event, just my opinion, and the opinion of many more now, that they have these massive audiences based from a domestic audience. Well, there's certainly some of that. But in the case, particularly the most radical kooks among them, they are playing to those foreign audiences. They're playing to the Islamists in Muslim and Arab countries. That's what they're doing. That's how they're making their money. That's why they have executives and staffers going over to Qatar. That's why they interview the head inbred in Qatar. That's why they interview the president of Iran. That's why they interview Putin. That's why they do what they do. Because they want those audiences. And again, Elon Musk is to thank for exposing this. Not the way I'm discussing it, but exposing all the foreign influence that's taking place on the internet, and I would argue with the podcasters. And it is really time that we pay attention to this, because it's harming the country, it's harming the Republican Party, the conservative movement, MAGA, and the country. Just a reminder, among those who have this mindset, people say, how is it possible that bloated Bannon and the fraud room can switch from being so pro-Israel to anti-Israel? For the reason I just said. Thanks to Elon Musk for exposing this. No wonder Bannon hates Musk. No wonder Bannon trashes Musk all the time. But it's Bannon who deserves to be exposed. He's the one. But here's what he said at a ZOA dinner, where I believe he was being honored. And I played this several weeks ago, but I'm going to play a truncated form of it. And then you'll see what I mean, the influence of money, of eyes on these grifters, and these foreigners and these foreign governments know it. Go.
And that's why I'm proud to stand with the state of Israel. That's why I'm proud to be a Christian Zionist. That's why I'm proud to be a partner to one of the greatest nations on earth and the foundation of the Judeo-Christian West. I'm proud to be here tonight. I'm honored. I want to thank you, and I'm proud to be a Christian Zionist. Thank you.
Wow, what happened? I just told you what happened. Phony fraud freak. This whole little cabal. Pamela Brown is a host on the Constipated News Network. Hopefully that will be purchased soon and fixed. It can't keep going like this. As our friend Joe Concha put it, they have more hosts than they do audience members there. But she asks Jamie Raskin the Red, this guy's diabolical, very, very evil. Very evil. She asks him, would you be defending a Republican who was texting with Epstein during your committee hearing? Cut 20, go.
I'm saying, would you be defending a Republican who was in the same position texting with Jeffrey Epstein?
I did.
Texting with Jeffrey Epstein after he was a known convicted sex offender, and just be calling it a constituent when in fact he was a donor and there was more there.
Well, I mean, we could take the example of the Republican serial liar and fraudster from New York. I'm spacing his name out right now, who left Congress, who was just
George
pardoned
Santos?
by.
Is that what you're talking about, George Santos?
George Santos. Okay. Yeah, I defended George Santos. They wanted to expel him because they considered him inconvenient, but he had not had a criminal conviction. He'd not had a civil
conviction. See what I mean, folks? See how sleazy these guys are? This has nothing to do with anything. But Epstein did have a criminal conviction. Not at the time. Oh, yes, at the time. He was a known convicted sex offender. Yes, at the time. And so Raskin points to George Santos. First of all, he's not a sex offender that I'm aware of. I don't believe he was convicted of it, but that's beside the point. She said, texting during the course of the hearing, that's what she said. I know about George Santos wasn't texting anybody during the course of any hearing that any Republican was paying any attention to. So one has absolutely nothing to do with the other. These guys have the lowest of low standards. You know, people say they have no standards. Yes, they do. They're sleazeballs. That's their standard. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I want to pat myself on the back. Laura Loomer, I want to pat her on the back. You know, they try to make her out like a nut. I don't agree with everything she says. She doesn't agree with everything I say, I'm sure. I don't believe I've ever talked to her. I may have. Either way. When it comes to these big issues, she's been terrific. helping to expose the Catarlsons, the bloated Bannons, the little Adolf Fuenteses, and really Marjorie Trader Greene. And I've been calling her Marjorie Trader Greene for a while now, but I understand Laura's been doing it longer than I do, so kudos to her. But I picked up on her, let me put it that way, this Marjorie Trader Greene, some months ago, as you all know. And I told everybody she's stabbing the president in the back. She's stabbing him in the back. And of course she is and was. Now the left loves her. They loved her up to the point she resigned. Now they'll love her again. And then when she runs for office, depending on who the Democrat is, they will praise the Democrat. But if they don't like the Democrat, they will praise her. In other words, she's putty in their hands now. Putty in her hands. She has been a member of the House for 5 years, I think. That's it. What has she done? Nothing. But Harry Enton on CNN today, well, are the Republicans, is the base of the Republican Party going to stick with Trump, or are they going to go with Marjorie Trader Greene? Who are they going to go with? Cut 21, go.
So is the president losing Republicans?
No. Look, this is still Donald Trump's Republican Party, and we can see it here. It's like a rock, to quote Bob Seger. I mean, take a look here. Republicans who approve of Trump. 6 months ago, it was 87%. Now, well, hello, it's the same number. It's 87%. He has not lost any support among Republicans compared to 6 months ago. As I said at the beginning, he's like a rock. He's like a rock. The Republican base is sticking by Donald Trump at this point in time.
It really is interesting to watch his overall approval rating go down, 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 but see this be completely constant here.
It is among independents. It is not among Republicans.
Okay, so how does this compare to past presidents in a second term?
Yeah, okay, I think this gives the game away, right? Which is Donald Trump, if you look at 21st century presidents' own party approval at this point in term two, who leads the pack? It's Donald John Trump. 87% of Republicans approve of Donald John Trump. You go back to 2013, 78% of Democrats supported Barack Obama, and it was 78% of Republicans who supported George W. Bush back in 2005 at this point. So Donald Trump has the biggest highest own party approval of any president who served their entire second term in the 21st century.
You could look at this one of two ways. You could say, obviously, he's doing way better than past presidents. Or you could say there is still room to settle. If there is a reversion to the mean here, if that does fall further, that could chip into his overall approval rating. Okay, Marjorie Taylor Greene resigning from Congress in January. One of the concerns is that Donald Trump backed someone in a primary against her. How has Donald Trump done in his congressional endorsements?
You know, when you go up against Donald Trump, you're going up against a buzzsaw, because Donald Trump's endorsement record is, it's hard to find anyone else who beats it. Times Trump endorsees won GOP primaries. In 2020, it was 98%. 2022, it was 95%. In 2024, it was 96%. And I will note, the majority of times that Donald Trump backed a challenger to an incumbent like Marjorie Taylor Greene, that challenger won a majority of the time. The bottom line is this. There was a real reason why Marjorie Taylor Greene decided, you know what, it's not worth the fight, because more times than not, when you go up against Donald Trump in a Republican primary, you lose.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. We'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
Very interesting piece on Yahoo News. A Republican elected governor in California, it's not as far-fetched as it sounds. And so we'll have Steve Hilton on here next week. He's also a great guy. In the eyes of many Americans, California is the quintessential blue state, that's for sure. Golden State is frequently discussed as the Democratic counterpoint to Republican leadership in Washington. Newsom will leave office in 2026 because of term limits. A number of high-profile Democrats have jumped into the race to be his replacement. But despite the state's reputation, it's not guaranteed that their party will maintain control of the governor's mansion after next year's election. It's because they've set up this screwy voting system, which is intended to help the Democrats. But as you're going to see, the problem is there's too many big-name Democrats that have jumped in. That's thanks to a crowded field of Democrats with no clear frontrunner, And the state's unique primary system, an outcome in which a Republican becomes California's next governor, isn't as far-fetched as it sounds. But anyway, this is how it could happen. Swalwell, who gained national attention as a key Democratic figure, you know, having an affair with, what was her name? Fang, whatever. He's added his name to the list. Other candidates include Representative Katie Porter. These are all head cases, by the way. Former Los Angeles Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa. Not exactly a head case, but in any event. Ex-Health and Human Services Secretary Xavier Becerra. Billionaire activist Tom Steyer. California School Superintendent Tony Thurmond. And California Democrat Party Chair Betty Yee. Rick Caruso, a wealthy former Republican who switched parties to run for mayor, has said he's considering running for governor, too. So all these Democrats carry a certain amount of clout in the state. None of them has the star power to be the clear favorite at this point in the race. The one California likely would have been is Harris. She's not running. Well, there are more than a half dozen serious candidates on the Democrat side. On the Republican field, it's much more streamlined. Only two major Republicans, Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco and former Fox News host Steve Hilton, who I've endorsed because he'd be a great governor. In almost any other state, having a tight cluster of candidates with no clear frontrunner wouldn't be that big of a problem for Democrats. All those candidates would battle it out in the party primary, and whoever won would go on to face the winner of the Republican primary in the general election. That's not how it works in California. See, they got really sleazy, and it might bite them in the tuchus. Rather than having separate primaries with one victor from each party, California is one of just two states, and that would be Alaska because Murkowski couldn't win the Republican primary, so they changed the system for her. California is one of just two states to use what's known as a top two primary system for gubernatorial elections. In a top two primary, all candidates are listed on the same ballot. The two candidates with the most votes, regardless of which party they belong to, move on to compete head-to-head in the general election. Now, why did the Democrats do this in California? Because they knew they'd win 1, 2, 3, 4, the top four slots. But here, because they have so many running, and with name ID, they split it up, Hilton could slip in. California has held 3 elections for governor since switching to the system. Each time a Democrat and a Republican finished first and second in the primary. Then the Democrat coasted to victory in the general. If that happens again next year, which Democrat emerges from the field will be a heavy favorite. But there is a scenario in which Republicans could secure the governorship in the primary. If Democratic voters instead spread their votes out over several candidates, that could create just enough room for Bianco and Hilton to grab the 2 spots in the primary, Mr. Producer. They could grab the 2 top spots. And then a Republican would be guaranteed to be the governor of California just by getting 35 to 40% of the vote. Wouldn't that be karma, man? I'll tell you what. We'll be right back.
Nobody says it better than Mark Levin.
I'll go with what Mark Levin said, because nobody could say it better.
Call in now at 877-381-3811.
That's the man right there. Let's take a look at some calls here. Bear with me. Okay. Ooh. Let's go to Moses, Bergen County, New Jersey, the great WABC. Moses, how are you, buddy?
Mark, I am doing very well, my friend. Always an honor to talk to you.
You too. Thank you.
Yes,
and
sir.
Happy Thanksgiving.
So, Mark, I think, likewise to you and to your family, Mark. Thank you very much. So, Mark, the crisis that I believe that we've been facing for many, many years, is that, unfortunately, Republican lawmakers, conservative lawmakers, are not creating conservatives. I discovered my conservative values through voices like yours, through Ben Shapiro's. You know, like, that's what I found through, like, a YouTube algorithm randomly years ago, and has been reinforced by voices like yours, and unfortunately not by Republican lawmakers. And I think that's the biggest problem they have. So a good example in regards to messaging, right? Like, I think because of the fact that Republicans never really put Democrats on the defense and the media covers for them, there needs to be a drastic change against the left in general, media and lawmakers. I would love to see, we mentioned this before, I would love to see a House rules change and have Mondays be a question and answer period like the way they have in Parliament. and then let the ads, multi-million views, multi-million view clips write themselves. And then another thing, a perfect example, Mark, if you were in charge of comms of the RNC, how much more effective would it be? Can you imagine you interviewing George Stephanopoulos? First thing I would say, George, if I remember correctly, Amy Robach is on camera from our friend James O'Keefe saying she's got Epstein files on Prince Andrew, and she has Epstein files on, Bill Clinton.
Ehud Barak.
How about you help us out? Yep. How about you help us out and get those files, George, or do you want to be part of the cover-up? You know, we need to have a wartime, nonviolent communication stance in messaging, and it needs to happen because otherwise, like the Democrats, they have, like we see it too much in academia and in the media to the Democrats. Like if you were in charge of the RNC, Mark, how would you help the GOP out?
Not well, I can tell you that, because it's not what I do. But that said, man, oh man, my little fellow here, Ronnie's having quite a time here. Nobody's coming to get him for some reason. I'm sorry, what would I do if I were running the RNC? I'd hire somebody who's really good to run it. I think they have somebody now there, but I like your point, Moses, about having Monday or whatever day they want as the day for debating ideas, both parties. Because I used to watch Margaret Thatcher over and over. She was so fantastic. And she made the points, and the media had to cover it, and the media had to report it, and so forth. It was absolutely fantastic. Here's the other problem, though. You've got people who claim to be MAGA, who are nothing more than like Huey Long Republicans. And by Huey Long Republicans, I mean they basically are just sort of thuggish, bulldogs. My way or the highway. Putin's a good guy. Ukraine's bad. Stuff like that. And I'm just not into that. I'm not sure if they even understand what it is that they're promoting. But to trash Ronald Reagan and Bill Buckley and Milton Friedman and guys like this, when the whole conservative movement was built and we won by massive landslides, and then to pretend that didn't happen and that's no good and that's the past and everybody's a rhino, but they're the new thing. They sound like Marxists. All right, Moses, have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. And they really are more Huey Long than they are Reagan or Trump. Lance, Montana, the great KJJR. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving, Lance. Go right ahead, please.
Thank you, Mark. Hey, first and foremost, I owe an apology to Mr. Call Screener. I called in with two topics, but I'd like to add a third.
No. You get one. I've got a whole line of people here. Go right ahead.
Okay. Well, that being said, let's offer up prayers for Mr. Call Screener and a hasty and full recovery from his procedures. He is a stalwart man on your team, and we've had several off-air conversations, and my heart
All right, thanks for your call. Thank you. I didn't know we were going to discuss that openly. Okay. You all right, Christian baby? All right. Lance, when you call, you got to stick to subjects. I don't know how much Christian wanted that out there, but there it is. All right, let's keep going. Let's go to Deborah, Rockland, Maine, XM Satellite. Go right ahead, please.
Hey, Mark. How you doing?
Good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm great. Slotkin is the one that was her egotistical self got to her to get all those people on board to do what they did. And I'm going to call John, the Radcliffe's office tomorrow. I think she needs to be investigated myself. And thank God for Pete Hegseth. You know what? These people need to be de-seated. They need to be, stripped of their seats. They can't even do their job, but they think they can, just...
I don't think there's enough Republicans in the Senate that have the guts to do that, because I looked that up myself, and I actually think they should be expelled. And it takes two-thirds of the body, and they're not going to get two-thirds, but for members of Congress to conduct themselves this way is abhorrent, absolutely abhorrent, sends a very bad message to the entire world, particularly our enemies, and they know what they're doing. They're trying to get members of the military to basically undermine the president. And, of course, 99.9% won't, but they're not worried about that. They want that 0.1%, if they can get it, to do just that. It's appalling what they did.
Yeah, I'm going to call Lisa McClain's office and John Thune's office and Speaker Johnson's office, as well as Steve Scalise. You're
going to be busy tomorrow.
This is me every day, Mark. This is me every day. I never shut up. I'm like on top of everything. I mean, I have Lisa McClain's cell phone number. Seriously. I mean, it's just, this is disgusting. Something needs to be done. And Comey and Letitia James, yeah, Pam Bondi's on it, and they're not getting off, and nor should they.
No. All right, my friend, you take care of yourself. We'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
All right, Mr. Producer, let's see. Let me go to Linda. Did I do Linda yet? No, West Orange, New Jersey, WABC. Hi, Linda.
Hi, Mark. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Hi, Mark. I'm good, thank you. Thank you for taking my call. And I wanted to tell you are the best. You really are. I love you so much. I listen to you every day.
You're very kind. Thank you.
I want you to also, before I forget this, I want you to go give Ronnie a big hug for me, your little dog here in Boston. My comment is the Dems are saying that it's the military can disobey illegal orders. But wouldn't the military personnel be court-martialed for insubordination if they did that?
Yeah, because how many illegal orders has this president given out? Not one. How many illegal orders do presidents give out? I can't think of any. So this is all a charade. It's a ruse. It's all intended to try and turn the military against the president. But the fact that it's tried is bad enough. And these people whining, they're investigating me, that's retribution. Yeah, you need to be investigated. And as far as I'm concerned, you need to be court-martialed. What you did was a disgusting disgrace. It actually attacks our constitutional construct and the notion of civilian control. And that's what they did. And the fact that they would use their former positions as an astronaut, as a captain, some of them in the intel agencies, that even, to me, should be even a bigger responsibility to do what they did. They used their positions to advance a very grotesque agenda, as far as I'm concerned. Thank you, Linda.
They did, and
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
They should be held accountable for that.
I think if we had the votes, and we don't anymore, they should be expelled, honestly. That's what I think. But the Democrats would never go along with it, and half the Republicans wouldn't either.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Have a happy Thanksgiving, Mark.
You too. You too. Thank you. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen, here. Don't go. Hold on. I'm here. Hold on. Let's go to Rick, Kingsley, Pennsylvania, the great WTRW. Where's that near? Is that near Scranton? I forget. Where's Kingsley?
Kingsley, we're between Binghamton, New York, and Scranton.
I was close. All right, great. Nice area. Speak to me.
You and the missus and your whole family. And, man, I look forward to this show every day.
Thank you, Rick.
And,
thank you.
And that's pretty much it. And please
Aren't
be
you
safe.
Nice?
And we,
All right.
yeah, we just love you.
Thank you, Rick. You take care. You and your family, too. You be well. You know, it's Thanksgiving in a few days. How much time do I have, Richard? Let me spend the next 90 seconds or 120 seconds telling you that every Thanksgiving and every night, I know I'm blessed, and I thank the good Lord for all of you, my radio family. And it must be thousands of times since I started this program. We have this national town hall meeting where we talk to each other, where we share our information. I try to make it substantive, sometimes funny, sometimes professorial, sometimes not. to provide you with information. Sometimes I have to talk about things that are ugly that I don't want to talk about, like the neo-Nazi movement and the neo-fascist movement among us. But I want you to be aware of it. But together, here's the thing. There's tens of millions of you during the course of the week, and nobody can fool us. Nobody can overcome us. We are the people. You, Mr. and Mrs. America. And I want to thank you on this Thanksgiving. You're the people who make this country work. You're the people who fight like hell to make sure we have the right people in the right place. We win some and we lose some. And I want to wish you a wonderful time with Thanksgiving with your family. If you're not with your family, we're thinking of you too. And just remember this. You know, when I'm at the dinner table, I'm very, very lucky. You want to know why, Mr. Producer? You want to know why, Mr. and Mrs. America? Because I like the white meat and most of them like the dark meat. Do you know that, Rich? What do you like? You do both. Well, I'll do both if I have, but I like the white meat. I just do. So I'm very, very lucky. Here's another reason I'm lucky. They all like to cook. I can't stand cooking. I don't even give it a shot. But everyone in the family seems to like to cook. So I let them cook. But then they want me to come into the kitchen and talk. Talk about what? Sweet potatoes? I have nothing to say. Nah, it's fantastic. I'm so blessed. We all are, really. God bless each and every one of you. Have a magnificent Thanksgiving. We'll be right here next Monday. We have two great Life, Liberty, and Levins over the weekend, and great hosts sitting in, as well as a great best of. We're gonna take good care of you here. Be safe. God bless, and thank you again. I'll see you next time.